welcome to my channel. My name is Anya and today's video is going to be the halfway point update for my Norway year because it's the end of June, or it's going to be that soon. And I'm also going to do a haul of all of the makeup I've bought so far this year. And you might think that sounds a bit weird, but my Norway has a couple of rules. One of the rules is that I have exceptions for 5 products that are in my accessible base. So the Fenty Pro Filt'r Primer, Mekka Powder Foundation, NYX Micro Brow Pencil, a brow gel that holds and a mascara that holds. Those are my 5 exceptions, and other than that I'm only allowed to buy makeup if I can either empty a category, so it's going to be like a replenishment, or get a category to its goal number, whichever comes first. And I've bought 9 products this year so far, and I'm pretty pleased with myself. And I'm filming this at like 10 PM because it's been really warm in Norway recently and I don't deal well with heat. So I've been sitting here with an ice pack trying to cool down because it's been so hot. I've just melted. I've also not been well, which is why there was no video last week. But I thought I would combine both the haul of what I've bought so far this year as well as just chatting about not buying makeup. I think I'm just going to start with the haul because it's going to tie in a little bit with what I'm going to talk about, and I think I'm just going to smush it together. I bought my first makeup item on the 27th of March. And on the 27th of March I picked up 3 NYX Micro Brow Pencils in the shade Auburn. I have 2 here because I've already opened and started using the 3rd one. At the end of March was when lockdown, or I say lockdown, started in Norway and where I live, so I was originally planning on picking this up the next time I went to the shopping centre near me to buy it. Never ended up going, so I ended up placing an order online and I bought 3 because there was a 3 for 2 sale, and I'm pretty pleased with it. This is a product that I go through fairly quickly when I use it, so for me buying multiples of it wasn't really a break because I at that time could not see when I would be able to actually physically go out and buy it again, and I would rather have as few packages shipped to me as possible, so I ended up picking up more than 1, hoping that it would sustain me through lockdown, and lockdown has ended, or for the most part ended, and it has. So I'm pretty pleased with that. I've also, at least in the month of June, I've not been wearing makeup much because it's just been too hot. And it's been too hot. I have barely been able to function as is, and I don't have energy to put makeup on because it just melts off my face. I'm wearing some today. I probably look splatchy and blotchy and shiny and all over. It just is what happens to my face when it gets hot. But it looked okay when I put it on, which was a couple of hours ago. But that was my first makeup purchase. And then 2 months went by until I made my next one. Well, I say 2 months, about 2 months. May 16th was my next. And I bought the Fenty Pro Filt'r Face Primer, which is one of the products in my accessible base exception because I finished it. And this is my favourite primer. The reason it's in my accessible base is because I use it a lot, and it's also one of the ones that I use in the sort of accessible base when I use those products together. It just works really well with my skin. It smooths texture, keeps makeup on my face, and I really like it. So I bought it. I actually ended up buying it when Fenty had a sale, so I bought it off their website. 10 days later, on the 26th, I made a fairly large order on Mekka, and Mekka is the place where I buy my powder foundation from. I also bought a lot of other stuff, but I ended up buying 4 of my powder foundations, and to me that doesn't really break my rules because I wanted as few packages as possible, and even though things were starting to open up, I am still comprehensive about going outside much, and my health has declined, and when my health declines, this is a product that I reach for a lot. So I still am using one, and I have pan on it. It's not the biggest, I'm sorry for blinding you. It's not the biggest pan, but I've found that repressing this doesn't work. Or it works, but it darkens the product too much. So once that pan becomes bigger, I'm going to have to break into a second one because I can't get enough product to like get under my eyes and stuff. I need to open the second one for that. But I'm okay buying and having these because I bought them on sale, and it's something that I know I use, and I will go through these. I envision I'll probably be able to finish up at least 2 by the end of the year, maybe another one. And I'm okay with that. I actually ended up getting 4 for the price of 1 with how they were on sale. And I have another item. And this is the only non-replenishment and the only item that doesn't come from the accessible base. And it has a bit of a story, so I'm just going to tie this in with my feelings on shopping because it comes to that. Last month I made a no-buy update video, and I talked about not having a want or an urge to shop when I wasn't even looking at products. And that's true, that still remains, but the day after filming that video, I realised that there is a specific product that I feel like I'm missing, and it's a cream blush. I have been getting more and more into lighter makeup, not setting my face with powder, using cream cheek products, but I don't own a cream blush. So I've been using lipstick and lip balm, gloss and liquid lipstick in its place, and it's worked, but I'm missing a cream blush. So that day I ended up going online and looking, and I found 4 different ones, or I sort of narrowed it down to 4 different ones. It was a Mekka cream blush in a stick form, the Milani Cheek Kiss, which is a liquid blush, Isadora blush stick, and the RMS Beauty Lifted Cheek, which is in a pot. Out of those 4, I ended up pretty much eliminating the RMS one right away because it is more than twice as expensive as the next one on the list, and for me that's too much to spend for a product that I'm unsure if I'm going to like and want to use. So I ended up just Xing that off the list. In Norway that costs 425 and okay, and it's too much for me to spend on like a tester item to see if it is a product that I will use. I ended up narrowing it down to Mekka, Isadora or Milani. 2 of those are stick blushes and the Milani one is a liquid. Out of those, the Mekka is the cheapest at 99, Isadora is 145 and the Milani is 195. These are all Norwegian krones. Makeup is expensive here. And I just went a bit back and forth, but left for the cabin that same day, so I didn't really get to look that much into it and decide that evening. And I spent the weekend at the cabin thinking about, is it a product that I'm going to use? So I think I played around with liquid lipsticks and lip balm that weekend to see if it would be something that I would use, and ended up deciding that yes, I want a cream blush. And came home after that weekend and started narrowing it down further. So I looked at all of the 3 shade ranges. The Milani I think has 6 shades available, Isadora 6 or 8, and Mekka has 2. And I knew that I wanted a peachy blush because that is my favourite colour blush to wear, and it's the one I reach for the most. And I thought if I'm going to get something that I'm unsure if I'm going to like, I want it to be in a colour that I'm at least going to wear. And I ended up finding 3 colours. The Mekka Cheeky Blush is in Squeeze the Day, the Milani Cheek Kiss is in Cheeky Coral, and the Isadora Blush Stick is also in Cheeky Coral or the colour Pretty Peach. I hadn't decided which one of the 2. Bit of back and forth, but I ended up opting for the Mekka Cream Blush in Squeeze the Day because it was the cheapest, and I could also use the coupon code to get it even cheaper. And the colour is a colour that I like. It has an orange peachy tone, it has some shimmer to it, and I really like how it looks on the skin. It's really nice and shiny. It's a colour that suits me. And when I wear it, I'm wearing it today sort of lightly. I think the camera is washing me out a bit and I've been sweaty, so parts of my makeup have come off. But it's just such a gorgeous colour, and it's a creamy formulation, so it blends into the skin like a dream. And it just gives such a nice flush to the skin. And I also found that if I wear, I forgot the word, bronzer on my face, like if I put it like down the cheek and over the nose, and then put this on top, it looks like a sunburn, and I kind of like that look. So I've been thoroughly enjoying it, and I'm really pleased I bought it. And this doesn't break my rules either, if you're curious, because I had not owned a blush in about 1.5 to 2 years, and the weird part about it, or the fun, depending on how you look at it, at the beginning of the year, cream blush was at the top of my list of makeup that I was never going to buy again. Because I've had cream blush in the past and I've just not liked it and hasn't fit with my way of doing my makeup, because I usually set my face with powder and I find that cream blushes don't work well on top of powder, so I've just strayed away from it and I've preferred powders, and I still love powder blushes. But now that I've started doing my makeup without setting my face with powder, I found a need for this and I found a place for it. And I got this, I ordered it at the end of May. It came in the first week, so about the first weekend of June. I have only worn makeup I think like 10 times in June, and I've used this cream blush at least half of those times. And that just tells me that this was not a miss. It's a product that I'm using it and I'm loving it. I'm really happy that I bought it. When it comes to potentially buying more cream blush, because I have an inventory list on my computer of all of the makeup that I own, and for each category of product I also put down a goal number, which is like the maximum that I want it to be. For the majority of my categories it involves shrinking the categories to get to that goal, but with cream blush, since it was a category that I was essentially starting from zero with, I had to, before making that purchase, decide what am I going to do with this category. Am I going to just buy this one and see how I feel, see if there's room for more, or am I going to set myself a goal now that I do not want it to overcome and then see how I feel in the future. I have already noticed a change in my habit in terms of like impulsively spending money on makeup, because that was something that I was horrible at a couple of years ago, and I don't do that anymore, and I don't want to do that anymore, which I think is the biggest change. I just don't want to spend money on makeup unless I either have to or it's something that I really want, like a cream blush. And you might think that a weekend thinking about buying cream blush isn't that much time, and it probably isn't, but I know that before that weekend when I actually decided, I had been spending over a month using liquid lipsticks and lipsticks as blush, because it was a hole in my collection that at that time I didn't think about filling, but towards the end of the month I decided that I could fill that and I would be happy with it. When it comes to buying more in the future, it's something that I've thought about. I ended up just not setting a goal right when I bought it, because if it is something that I'm going to use, and if my makeup style is going to go more away from powdering my face and more towards using cream products, I want to allow myself to buy more, but only if I need to. And for me that means I already know that I'm not going to buy a pink cream blush. I will most likely buy another cream blush in the future if I feel the need for it. Right now I'm fairly happy with this one I have. It gives me this really nice peachy cheek on its own, and applied over bronzer it turns more reddish, like a reddish brown, which is closer to the colour that I tan in, because I don't tan to a brown shade, I tan pinky red, and I like it. But I might buy some in the future. I still kind of do want the Milani one, the liquid one, but at the moment that orange colour is, because it's almost like a straight orange, it's not really that peachy compared to how this one swatches. It's currently too close to this, and maybe in a couple of months, depending on how, because what I'm going to do is essentially give myself like a trial period of a couple of months. It's already been one, but I'm at least going to give myself another 2. If I keep using this at the rate that I'm using it, which is about half of the time I do my makeup, I might allow myself to get another one, another colour. I'm not going to get the same colour, or I'm going to try not to get like a dupe for this or a similar colour from a different brand, because I know this comes in 2 shades. I don't want the other shade of this because it's pink and I don't really like pink blush on me. I prefer peach. But I kind of want the Milani one because it is more orange, and I know orange blush looks different on me, but it can still take on a very similar tone of that sort of sunburnt orangey pinkiness on me. So at the moment I don't really think I'm going to buy any more, at least not for the foreseeable future. I'm gonna sort of officially give myself another at least 2 months of playing with this to see how I feel, because if I still feel really strongly and I still want more, and if I still keep using my lipsticks and liquid lipsticks to fill a gap in terms of like a colour, I might look into finding something in that colour. Until then, I'm fairly happy with the one I have. Now that I've ranted about the stuff that I've bought, I tried to keep a little wish list this year and fill in anything that I wanted, anything that I thought I would have bought if it wasn't a no-buy. And my top thing in June is a cream blush, and I've just talked about that. Technically it was at the end of May, but I'm just including it in this month's update because it all happened after I filmed last month. And then I have 2 other things so far on my June list. They are both eyeshadow palettes. The first one is the e.l.f. JKissa collaboration. The eyeshadow palette that is like a rainbow palette that costs $20 US. That one, I kind of like the way it looks. I like that it has, I think it's 6 different shades, 6 or 7 shades, but 3 different variations of the same shade. And I like that. I have, technically I think you could say, have a rainbow palette because I have most of those shades, but I don't have them in all of those finishes. And for me, it's something that I maybe would have bought if I could get it. But e.l.f. is a difficult brand to get a hold of, and I'm not actually sure that that palette got released outside of like North America. I haven't looked that hard for it though, so you know, it might have gotten released here and I just haven't paid attention because I haven't looked for anything. And the other eyeshadow palette is one that I know I would not have bought, but I like the way it looks, and it's the Natasha Denona Bronze eyeshadow palette. It's $65. So it's expensive, and I think the price of this is probably what like hinders me the most. But the colours of it is just what I like wearing. They are neutral brown tones, they lean more warm than they do cool, and it's a palette that I absolutely would use if I had it. But I wouldn't buy it because I already have shades similar to it. I might actually try duping it for myself just to see. But outside of that, my feelings have stayed very much the same as last month. I haven't wanted to buy anything. I still feel very overwhelmed with my makeup collection, and going through waves this year of not feeling well has made me realise that the goal I set this year of using everything is probably not going to happen, because I have had so far this year probably about 2 months out of the 6 I've been ill and stuck in bed for the most part. So I haven't worn a lot of makeup. I've worn less than I wanted to. If you can hear a dog in the background, it's my puppy. I don't think you can see here. You can sort of see something moving right there. That's my poodle. But what was I saying? I had to shut the camera off because people were talking. I haven't wanted to buy anything. And I mean outside of the cream blush, but I don't look at new releases. I like, outside of like the e.l.f. thing, and even that I almost forgot about it until I looked at my list now, because I wrote it up when I saw it 3-4 weeks ago. I'm not interested. Because my health has been not great this year, I've struggled to use my makeup collection, and the size of it overwhelms me every time I look at it. And I've realised that I'm nowhere close to reaching my goal of using everything this year. I'm not going to be able to do it, and it kind of sucks. So I'm not interested in buying anything, and I'm just not. I don't want to. I don't feel an impulse to. And something that I saw when like the rest of the world locked down in like April, a lot of people bought stuff. They went on online like shopping sprees for various things. And I can definitely see that. That could have been me. I could have easily a couple of years ago, like 2.5 years ago, I would have gone on a shopping spree and I would have bought a lot of makeup. And I probably also a lot of books. But I didn't. I haven't felt a need to, I haven't felt a want to. Most of my money in the last couple of months, they've gone to bills and food. I've just not spent a lot of money. And I've not wanted to either. The thing that I wanted to buy most is actually books, and specifically audiobooks, because I've gotten more into reading in audiobook form. I've read a lot of books in the last 3 months just to give myself something to do, I've also watched a lot of YouTube and a lot of Twitch streams because it gets pretty boring being home and not going anywhere, not having anything to do. And I mean, this has largely been my life for like, oh my gosh, how long is it? It's 8 years? 8.5, almost 9. But it still sucks. So I'm happy that I chose the no buy this year, not like the low buy like I originally planned. Because I think I would have over purchased if I had not been on a strict no buy. And I'm okay with that. I'm happy with my choice. I'm really pleased that it has worked this well, because I was really nervous at the end of last year and in like the first couple of months, because it was a complete change of habit for me. And I was like worried what I was going to turn to, what I was going to spend my money on, because I essentially feared that I was going to spend the money that I usually spend on makeup on other things like household items, fancier food. Not that that's really anything that for me, because I'm not really a fancy food person, but like buying loads of books, buying loads of planning stuff for my planner, because I try to plan with stickers because I really like how it looks, but I struggle with it because my hands hurt a lot and it involves a lot of tiny movements with my hands and they die every time, so I don't do it as often as I want to. But I have a lot of stickers for planning, and I have bought more, and I have spent money on books this year, and I have spent money on stickers, and I have spent money on makeup. I mean, I didn't get the makeup that I bought for free, but I got most of it on sale, and I've spent 682 krona and 24 öre, which is not, it's nothing. It's almost a tenth of what the amount of what I've used up is, because I've used up / had 62 items leave my collection for a total value of 6,240 krona and 84 öre. So I'm pretty happy with that. I'm gonna have a fairly large chunk of items going this month for the declutter. A lot of them are gonna go from the project pan that I'm gonna film in the next couple of days, hopefully, as long as my health cooperates and the weather stays preferably below 25 degrees, because I melt, and I just have not been having fun in the last like weekend, 10 days. It's just been too hot. But I'm expecting to have more items leave my collection this month in form of a declutter, because I'm just not using them. I have changed my mind on decluttering makeup, because I used to be a person who didn't do it. I didn't like it, I didn't do it. It's wasteful, and I mean it is, but particularly for me, because I don't have anyone to give it to. I can't afford to ship my stuff to Project Beauty Share, which is halfway across the world, and no places in Norway will accept used makeup for donation, so I can't do that. So for me, I know when I declutter something, it goes in the bin. But I've also learned to accept that the money's already spent, the products are already in my possession, and if I choose to hold on to them without using them, they're just taking up space. So I have gotten better at decluttering the stuff that I don't like and that I don't use, and I think that's good, because my collection is too big and I have too much, and I've realised that now, and I never want to go back. But I still have the stuff that I've bought, and if I'm not going to use it, I've come to the place where I don't want it to take up space anymore, and I'm okay with decluttering it. And I did a small declutter in April of some base products and some lip products, and I did another declutter in I don't know, I think it was May, more lip products. And this month I've done some eyeshadow, some more lip products, and I'm gonna do, I think it's gonna be like 60% of my Project Pan drawer. I'm gonna get rid of it because I'm not using it, and I'm okay with that. My goal was to have 100 items leave my collection this year, and I'm ahead of schedule, and I'm almost tempted to up that number to 150, because I think I can do that, both in terms of finishing products, because I have a fairly decent amount of items that are like close to being done, but also because I have gotten better at decluttering, I think I might be able to let go of more. But I'm not sure what else I'm going to talk about. If you can't tell, I'm getting pretty tired and drowsy. It's late. I am exhausted. So I'm going to go to bed. Thank you so much for watching the video, and I hope I will see you soon. Bye!